At 3:11 in the afternoon, the ground beneath Chile stopped pretending to be solid. For days, the land had been restless small tremors like nervous breaths. People joked about it. Earthquakes were an old neighbor in Chile, loud, familiar, and usually gone by morning. But on May 22, 1960, the Earth did not come to visit. It rose up to fight itself. The shaking began low and slow, like a giant waking beneath the crust. Then it grew violent, endless. Buildings bent as if made of paper. Roads split open, swallowing cars and screams. The ground rolled invisible waves. People said later it felt like standing on the back of a furious sea. This was no ordinary earthquake. It was a magnitude 9.5, the strongest earthquake ever recorded in human history. In the city of Valdivia, homes collapsed in seconds. Churches cracked open. Rivers reversed direction as the land dropped by more than 2 meters in some places. Entire neighborhoods slid into the water. Power died. Communication vanished. The country was suddenly blind and deaf. And still, the shaking did not stop. For nearly 10 minutes, the earth convulsed an eternity when the ground itself is your enemy. But the earthquake was only the first blow. Out in the Pacific Ocean, the seafloor had been violently lifted and torn apart. Water displaced by the rupture raced outward in all directions, gathering speed and height. Hours later, a tsunami struck Chile's coast. Waves as high as 25 meters crashed into coastal towns, tearing fishing boats from the shore and hurling them inland like toys. Survivors who had escaped the shaking were dragged back into chaos by the sea. Then the waves crossed oceans. Hawaii was hit, killing 61 people. Japan suffered massive flooding and destruction. The Philippines and New Zealand felt the impact. The earthquake had turned the entire Pacific Ocean into a weapon. Back on land, the damage deepened. Landslides buried villages whole. One slide blocked the Rihu River, forming a massive natural dam. Behind it, water rose day by day, threatening to unleash a flood that could erase Valdivia completely. Engineers and villagers worked desperately for weeks, digging by hand, knowing that if they failed, the city would drown. Volcanoes, shaken awake by the rupture, erupted. Ash fell from the sky. The air smelled of sulfur and ruin. By the time the earth finally rested, over 2,000 people were dead. Millions were homeless. Entire regions were economically destroyed. Chile's landscape was permanently altered. Some areas sank into the sea. Others rose, exposing new coastline. Maps became lies overnight. Chile did not collapse, but it was rewritten. The disaster reshaped how the world understood earthquakes. It led to modern tsunami warning systems and new seismic science. The ground had taught humanity a brutal lesson. The planet is not passive. Old survivors would later say that after 1960, they no longer trusted stillness. When the ground was quiet, they listened harder, because they remembered the day the earth screamed, and how an entire country learned how small it truly was.